Tonight, preparing to pay their final respects to a fallen Buffalo firefighter.
We've had our flags at half-mast. Those will continue to be there. And of course, we will all come out and stand and line the street.
How you can take part as we learn details of Friday's funeral procession, plus special delivery.
I was just thinking to myself that I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die. The baby's not going to make it.
Recognizing 2 first responders saving the lives of a mother and her premature baby.
Plus, an education debate. I'm Taylor Epps, and tonight I'm going in-depth on the pros and cons of adding more charter schools to our community.
It's a trip down memory lane for you and your taste buds. We're checking out some very old menus here at the Buffalo History Museum. I'm Mike Randall. We'll have that story coming up.
Streaming live from downtown Buffalo, this is 7 News.
Tonight, crews removing the American flag from what's left of that building consumed by fire 1 week ago on Main Street in Buffalo. That flag, a tribute to fallen firefighter Jason Arnold. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. We're also learning more about Arnold's final arrangements and how you can take part in Friday's services.
Yeah, this all comes 1 week after the 4-alarm fire that claimed his life. Investigators have been at the scene on Main Street over the past several days, combing through the debris, trying to uncover any possible clues as to how this fire started.
In the meantime, we now know the route of the procession for Jason Arnold's funeral on Friday. It begins at Amagon Funeral Home on Delaware Avenue, heading south to Allen, then Allen to South Elmwood. The procession will pass Arnold's fire station at the corner of Elmwood and Virginia, crossing Church Street to Lower Terrace. It will then loop around to St. Joseph Cathedral on Franklin Street. The eastbound Skyway will be closed Friday from 9:30 until 1 o'clock, we're told, to accommodate the procession. And if you want to pay your final respects, city officials say that you should plan on lining up along that route somewhere.
My heart just continues to hurt for not only for the Buffalo Fire Department, but for Jason Arnold's family, his young child.
Jennifer Barbie is one of many planning to stop what they're doing Friday morning to go outside and line the streets as the funeral procession for Jason Arnold makes its way through Buffalo. Barbie's office is along the route on Delaware Avenue.
We've had our flags at half-mast. Those will continue to be there. And of course, we will all come out and stand and line the street just to pay our final respects. It's a moment of reflection and of respect, not just for him and his family, but for the entire, the fire department, the police, everyone who puts their lives in danger for our community every day.
How many people are in this building usually that work here?
Usually, this building houses both the BPO and the Red Cross, so between the two organizations, we have approximately 50 people here. Anyone who is here early Friday morning will absolutely be outside.
We know that it's important to the family that they know the community is behind them.
Ross Salino's office is also along the procession route on Delaware.
Now that we've learned about that, we're going to have all our employees out front to pay respects to the family. The firemen in this community are very, very important. They help our residents every day. Car crashes, fires, and things like this. And so to see somebody fallen because of that tragic incident, it just really hurt.
Salino tells me his 49 employees at that office will be lining the streets Friday. He says it's the least they can do to show their appreciation for a firefighter who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, we think it's going to help. I mean, just to show the respect to the family and to the rest of the Buffalo firefighters, we think it's the right thing to do.
And calling hours are 2 to 8 tomorrow at Amagon Funeral Home on Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. The funeral mass is Friday at St. Joseph Cathedral. That's on Franklin Street in downtown Buffalo. That service will begin at 10 a.m. Jason Arnold is one of 8 siblings, and we're told one of his brothers will be delivering the eulogy.
And our live coverage of the funeral procession for firefighter Arnold begins Friday at 9 a.m. That's followed by his funeral mass at 10. You can watch it all here on Channel 7, streaming wherever you are at WKBW.com and the WKBW app. Now to Lockport tonight, and some well-deserved praise for a pair of first responders whose day took an unexpected turn from an expecting mother. Senior reporter Eileen Buckley has more on one very special delivery inside an ambulance.
I was just thinking to myself that I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die. The baby's not going to make it.
Terrifying moments for a Lockport mother. Rosanna Roman was just 24 weeks pregnant and profusely bleeding Saturday. Initially, she was going to drive herself to Oshai Children's Hospital in Buffalo. But then her 19-year-old son called 911, and that's when Lockport fire paramedic Karen Gavin arrived.
They realized that she had lost a lot of blood in the house, but as transport progressed, it rapidly became apparent that she was bleeding heavily.
They decided to go to Millard Fillmore Suburban in Amherst because it was closer, but then Roman went into labor.
None of us had any idea that baby was coming, honestly, not even mom. So that was a big surprise.
The baby's father, Sebastian Harris, says it was frightening and powerful to watch the first responders save his son's life as Gavin performed CPR.
He wasn't responding in the beginning, and then when she blew into his mouth, like from that point on, and he opened his eyes, she just kicked in. When he made that noise, it was like her mother instincts. I think that's what it was. I don't know. It just kicked in. She wasn't going to lose this baby.
I asked Gavin how her training kicked in to save the baby boy.
At first, it was startling because it was so unexpected, and it was such an unusual birth for the child to be so young and for the child to come out completely within the amniotic sac.
I was terrified for my own life. I thought that me and the baby weren't going to make it. But Karen really did an awesome job in the ambulance, and I'm so thankful for her.
The baby is now named after his dad, Sebastian Harris. He is just 1 pound, 10 ounces, and has since been transported to Children's in Buffalo. Gavin says she was in the right place at the right time and was thrilled to see everyone doing so well. The baby is in stable condition at Children's Hospital, but there is no word on how long he will be there. In Lockport, Eileen Buckley, 7 News.
Incredible work.
1 pound.
Yes, by the first responders there.
Sebastian.
Also tonight, the closing of a local school, starting a conversation about the future of charter schools.
Yeah, some are saying that we need more schools like Buffalo Collegiate. Others arguing they are taken away from our public schools. Now, that charter school is one of 22 charter schools in the Buffalo Public School District, but it is closing at the end of the year. The 300 students will be placed in either public or other charter schools next fall. And tonight, our Taylor Epps taking us in depth with more on what's behind this debate.
Charter schools like Buffalo Collegiate here are designed to support innovation. They are tuition-free, district-funded, and many say crucial for local families, but others argue these schools have gone too far.
And Buffalo definitely has, I feel, saturated with the amount of charter schools in the city.
There are 23 charter schools in Western New York, all but one in Erie County. In the Buffalo Public School District, nearly 10,000 students are signed up for this alternate option. Head of school at Buffalo Collegiate, Brian Poloski, says they're here to empower families.
Specifically in underserved areas for Black and brown children who most often throughout our nation do not get the same kind of rigorous academic supports.
Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing expanding charter schools downstate, but that has the leader of New York State United Teachers, or NYSUT, saying, what about our public schools?
Charters seem to be gaining. They are taking the funding from the public schools, and it's just not fair.
He fears more charter schools downstate could lead to more here in Western New York, and ultimately less funding for the other 20,000 students in Buffalo Public Schools. That's because charter schools are funded through the school districts where they're located.
Charter schools have almost $1 billion in reserves. So they're sitting on all this money.
The Buffalo Collegiate Charter School annual report also shows charter schools were able to get a boost from the federal government through PPP loans during the pandemic, money public schools could not get. But Poloski says money is actually pretty tight for charters.
And so not only do we operate on approximately 1/3 to 40% less per pupil funding, but we also have to get our capital expenditures out of that per pupil funding.
Charter schools have to overperform public schools in order to keep the doors open. Their charters are reevaluated by the state, measuring student performance every 5 years. Poloski says at Buffalo Collegiate, they ran out of time to improve scores and won't be an option for students come fall.
We have a position now, a slogan, Public Schools Unite Us, because we will always be there for the students. We're not going to close.
Is there a way that public schools and charter schools can exist in a way that makes everybody happy?
We're just saying make sure that the playing field is level for everyone. take every student the way we do.
I am hoping that there is a world in which this generates some further complexity of dialogue, where there is a way to elevate all elements of the ecosystem here.
Now, Pallotta tells me he would love to have a sit-down conversation with both sides to talk about money and transparency before any more charter schools are added in New York State. Pelosi says whatever decisions are made, the needs of the students need to be put first. In Buffalo, I'm Taylor Epps, 7 News.
Interesting debate, for sure. All right, still to come here on 7 News at 6. Easter season means big business for Redlinski Meats. What challenges this small business faces, though, in the weeks ahead?
Plus, a love for collecting is on the menu for one local woman who works for the Buffalo History Museum. Mike Randall has her story coming up next.
You're watching 7 News at 6 with Jeff Russo, Leah Lando, 7 weather meteorologist Autumn Lewandowski, and sports director Matt Beauvais.
Welcome back. Redlinski Meats heading into one of its busiest seasons of the year, but the owner says the butcher shop is having to do more with less because of things like the COVID-19 pandemic and, of course, the Christmas blizzard of 22. The owner says he went down from 27 employees to only 9 over the past couple of years and has had to scale back business just to stay afloat. Now, the proposal to raise the minimum wage another $7 per hour by 2027 isn't helping. Our Kristen Moran taking a look at yet another small business here in Western New York that's struggling to make ends meet.
How much is that? 2 1/4 pounds, 1806.
Joe Redlinski, owner of Redlinski Meats in Cheektowaga, says his staff has dwindled in just the past few years. He's also had to eliminate nationwide shipping and selling baked goods.
Since the pandemic started, it seemed to get a little thinner every year. Harder to find qualified help to get you through the holiday.
Still, with fewer hands on deck, the business is preparing for roughly 7,000 pre-orders this Easter season.
We got to make up for the snowstorm this Easter.
Now a new proposal is looking to hike the state's minimum wage from $14.20 an hour to $21.25 an hour by 2027. It's a policy State Senator Sean Ryan is pushing for. So I asked him Tuesday how this would impact businesses that are still reeling from the pandemic.
We raised the minimum wage last time about 9 years ago. There was a lot of concern in the business community. You're not hearing it this year because you go to a McDonald's drive-thru and there's signs up saying $18 an hour, can start work immediately. So right now the private sector is ahead of the law.
But Redlinski says that hike would only push them out of business.
If that happens, it's just going to be Walmart and Target and goodbye any niche.
Tough time to be a small business owner because there's just a lot coming at you and a lot you really have to pay attention to.
Susan Steffen with the University at Buffalo Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership says businesses have had to adjust to a new normal.
So the business hasn't returned to the way it used to be for a lot of small businesses. You know, they've experienced in some cases rampant inflation, which has led them to have to either increase their prices, decrease their expenses.
But anybody that's still in business right now through that, they're figuring a way.
Krista Moran, 7 News, Cheektowaga.
All right, so what do you hold on to that you just can't let go of? People say all kinds of things, but one woman's tasteful collection is designed to outline Western New York's proud culinary past. Our Mike Randall showing us what's on the menu for the library director at the Buffalo History Museum.
For a local history buff,
here are atlases.
This place is paradise.
This is a card catalog with our obituary index.
It's the library at the Buffalo History Museum, and Cynthia Van Ness is in charge.
We have city directories, and these are the backbone of local history research.
To say she collects everything here might be an exaggeration.
You know, the laws of physics, we don't have enough space for everything.
One collection she does have just might bring back some happy memories.
Oh, I have weigh-ins.
Or even perk up your taste buds.
Menus don't take a lot of space. They're free on a counter. They don't take a big budget to acquire them.
Cynthia's been on the job 15 years and has added significantly to the museum's collection of approximately 800 restaurant menus. How many do you think you've brought into the mix?
Probably about 500 or more.
Some of these eateries are still up and running, and some are just gastronomical history.
We have pre-Civil War Buffalo menus in this collection.
There's Romanello's, gone but not forgotten.
The notorious Romanello's, the site of a mafia hit in the 1970s.
The collection has a menu from the Clarendon Hotel, first recorded spot to serve chicken wings in the 50s. 1850s, that is. And we dug up a few of my former employers. The Crouching Lion used to be on Sheridan Drive. One of my favorite spots, the Charter House. That used to be on Transit. I was a waiter there, and look at those prices. A special one for Cynthia is the room service menu from Roswell Park Cancer Institute.
And if you think about it, you know, you're having one of the worst experiences of your life at Roswell, and you get this food service menu, and you can pick what you want to eat. That one just tugs at me.
The plan is eventually to have all these menus cataloged and available for researchers. Meanwhile, Cynthia needs help collecting more menus.
From as humble as your pizza and wing joint all the way up to fine dining.
We can help her out. After all, here in Western New York, enjoying our local restaurants is one of our most popular pastimes. Mike Randall, 7 News, Buffalo.
And you recognize
Trip
some of
back in
those,
history.
right?
Yeah,
Both of
that's
you did.
really cool.
Romanello's here. Filet mignon, $3.90.
Sounds like a deal.
Take me back.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You can't even add another zero to it and get it for $9. So, oh my goodness.
I try to explain to the kids when they order that how many hours you have to work to get that.
Yeah,
Gotta stay home.
Yes, that's right.
You know, but everyone was, I think, out and about the last couple of days. 2 days of sunshine in a row. Haven't had that in a long time. And really, in fact, even in the month of February, there were only 2 completely sunny days. In downtown Buffalo, we had nearly all sunshine. You headed a little further inland, there was a lot more cloud cover across western New York. 33 degrees right now at the Buffalo airport. We're still nice and calm as we look at the radar screen and the satellite shot. Much of the cloud cover again was through the eastern counties throughout the day, and even for a time splashed into downtown. For the night, little more cloud cover coming in. Winds will be fairly light. Temperatures will be back into the 20s, and our forecast for tomorrow is going to be that much of the same as today. Little more cloud cover, the high thin clouds coming through. We'll call it partly sunny. Temperatures are still going to be below average in the middle 30s. So this is how it looks in that hour by hour forecast. No real precipitation there. We have some clouds breaking up into the afternoon. And then, yes, this is going to be the next system that we're looking at. By early Friday morning, 7 a.m., downtown Buffalo is dry. We'll likely start to see some snow showers for the southern tier. Through about noon, this all stays south of the city. From noon onward to about 6 p.m., everyone is dealing with snow. From 6 to midnight becomes a little more scattered. And then even just dealing with some lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario into the early morning hours of Saturday. How this looks right now, we'll call it around 2 to 4 inches between Buffalo, Orleans County, maybe a little bit less than that. And then you get into Wyoming County, the higher elevations, we'll see a bit more, 4 to 6 inches along the Chautauqua Ridge, maybe a little bit more than that as well. And not only there, but from ski country in Ellicottville right into northern Pennsylvania, we'll see that about half a foot mark or even higher. So if you want that extended ski season for Holiday Valley, this is the time to get it in between Friday and Saturday. So Saturday afternoon would be good to hit the slopes. Temperatures are going to be right near 30 degrees and likely seeing more snow from Monday into Tuesday.
Okay. Wow, we have some big news coming, not from the Bills, not from the Sabres, from the Beauvais household.
All right. This is going to be the last time you see me for a while, but I'll explain why coming up on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching 7 News. That's it.
What a tease.
I know, right?
Now, 7 Sports with Sports Director Matt Beauvais.
Hey, last night I stood in this very spot and I talked about how massive the Sabres game was against the Islanders. It truly was, but after losing in New York, Buffalo's chances at making the playoffs and ending their drought now grim. But hey, there is still a chance, right? The Sabres have 19 games left this season and they need to make the most of them, especially in these next few days. The Blue and Gold have lost 4 of their last 5. The Sabres host 2 surefire playoff teams in the next 4 days with both the Stars and the Rangers coming to town. All right, welcome to March, everyone. And before we get to the madness, we've got conference tournament games to be played. What a battle this afternoon between the 8-seeded UB Bulls and top-ranked Toledo Rockets. UB up 3 late in the game, but that's when MAC Player of the Year, Kenesha Lockett, drills that 3 to tie it up. UB with a chance to win at the end. This one doesn't fall, so it goes to overtime in the extra frame. Once again, back and forth. UB with another chance to win it at the buzzer. but they can't convert. A valiant effort falls short. Toledo tops UB 75-74, the final in overtime. But the women's team at Niagara, they were on the other end of a close game. The Purple Eagles win their first game of the MAC tournament with a 67-64 win. Aaliyah Parker led the way with 18 points for Niagara. Now, as for the UB men, they'll play in their first conference tournament game tomorrow night in Cleveland against the Akron Zips. UB has lost both of their previous matchups to Akron this season, and neither game was really close. Tip-off in that one is set for 6:30. Some other Big Four games. The men from from St. Bonaventure, they fall to Davidson 65-54. That was earlier today. And then the Niagara men, they play tomorrow against the Siena Saints. And down the 90 in Syracuse, Jim Boeheim's tenure with the Orange coming to an end after 47 years. The team made the announcement official just about an hour ago. So congrats to him on a really, really impressive run.
All right. So it seems like there's something in the water here at Channel 7.
There's something in the water.
Right?
My wife and I are expecting our first baby. Very excited. And when I say expecting our first baby, the due date is on Monday. So you're not going to see me again for a while. Take some time with the family. We are very excited. All the support has been unbelievable. Can't wait.
And we're not allowed to ask if it's a girl or a boy. Is it a girl or a boy?
So my wife and I know, but nobody else knows. So what do you guys think? What do you think?
I think it's a boy.
You think boy?
I think boy.
I told Matt off camera, boy, and now I'm looking at his tie.
I wore a black suit for a reason. I didn't want to give it away.
Yeah,
All right, so it's a girl.
congratulations to you and Andrea, Matt. It's great.